Good evening and welcome to our live crafting this evening. My name is Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that's here in the UK. Thank you for joining us. It is, Thursday, the 20th of June 2024. If you're joining me live, then hi and a warm welcome to you. Do say that you're watching. It's always nice to know who's watching along. If you're watching on replay, whether that is here on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, which is where all my videos get uploaded to, then a welcome to you too. Obviously you could be watching this on any future date or time and from anywhere in the world. So a warm welcome to you too. If you have any queries on the products that I've used, then please just pop those in the comment section. Hi to you, Lynn. And obviously this is current as of June 2024. So the products I'm using are from our annual catalogue. So these will be available through to May of 2025. But if you're watching this later, and I do know obviously that the videos get watched at any point in time, then it may be that some of the products you see are not available. But you can always contact me and double check at that time. So the stamp set that we've been using, hi Caroline, is this one here, Under the Moon. It's quite bright here still, so I've managed to work without having my overhead lights on, so no reflections, which is good. But if it does get dark, do let me know and I can pop the lights on. So this is called Under the Moon. As you can see, we have a moon here, and then this one can be a moon or a sun, depending on how you ink it up and what colours you use. We've got two really nice cloud formations, and we have some dolphins. So these are two separate stamps, a set of two and a single one, and then we have this little sailboat. And then finally the 8th stamp in the stamp set is this here, which can be water, but it could also be, you could do it in earth colours. It could be a lake, obviously it doesn't have to be a sea. And I'm going to show you a couple of techniques with this today to make it look quite different. I'm going to do one moon and one sun card design this evening. Let me show you the one that we did on Monday. So this was Monday's card, and I used the Fragranced Forest stamp set. I actually cut that up so that we only had part of the forest, because the actual forest on that stamp goes right the way across the whole of the card. So I stamped that. I added a little bit of background with the blending brush and our blue ink, just in paces, and then we have the moon here, which I masked off while I did the extra blending. And then I popped this aeroplane on, just happened to be to hand, just felt it sort of worked with that and the sentiment. So some other variations. This is the same one really, but with the moon in a different position and using a different die cut. This one is with the sailboat, and it works really well if you stamp it in a dark colour. This is espresso, but you could use Night of Navy because you want it to look almost like a silhouette. And then this one here I've done with the sun and the dolphins and the water underneath. So very similar, I guess, in terms of the scene, but this stamp set works perfectly with any other scenery cards you might have. So think trees, you could have hills, mountains, you name it really, anything where you've got a scenery. If you've got the oceanfront stamp set, it would work perfectly with that as well. So let's get on and do some crafting. Let's do I'll do another moon version and then the sun, and I want to show you how we can swap this out. So let me grab a piece of basic white card. Let's find a clean bit of paper to work on. Well, nearly clean. Just fold this over like so. Okay, so I'm hoping that's not too, there's a little bit of shadow, isn't there? So let me just move that up a little bit. What's even worse? Dear, dear. Let me just put it over the back. And I'll bring this down. There we go. So hopefully a little bit better. So I'm going to use Azure Afternoon. So I'm going to have two sort of seascapes. But I want to show you something to get a different effect. So I'm inking this up. This is Azure Afternoon, a really nice bright blue. And I don't know if you can see, and let me just stamp it first and then you'll see it maybe a little bit better. When you stamp this, it's got some shading built in here already. Hopefully you can see that. So you can have that element on your card, but what you can also do is take the same stamp and turn it round the other way, and I'm just going to do it a little bit further up and stamp this one here, and then I'm going to stamp another one to the side. I better open this up after all, and then just overlap those a little bit, and then you've got a much more defined area in the middle, which can be the reflection of your moon, for example. You could also stamp it as a sun and have this you know, just slightly coloured in. So that's the difference. So this is it turned effectively upside down, and this is it, if you like, the standard way. Okay, so let's get stamping. So I'm actually going to do one of each. One is going to be with the sun and one is going to be with the moon. I haven't decided which one will be which just yet. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this across the bottom of my card, and I've got this slightly off the bottom, like so. There we go. And I'm going to fill these little bits in just by using the edge of that, and it gives quite a nice effect. Do it that way. So I just turned it over and adding that, and it gives the effect of sort of movement of the water, but also the light reflecting on the water. Let me just lift that up so you can see it a little bit better, like so. Now you could repeat that if you wanted more water. This is quite a large base card, so this is, just checking, this is 9.5 by 13.85, and that is 1 centimetre difference between that and the standard card base, so that I've got space for my area around the edge. Okay, so let us make this I'm going to make this a sun one, with the sun going down here and the dolphins. I could have the dolphins and the boat, but just the dolphins. Now what I want to do is work on with this stamp to make it more detailed. So I'm actually going to use my stamp positioning tool, because what I want to do is ink up the moon in different colours. So I want oranges and yellows. So let's pop this on here. Hopefully I've got some magnets I have underneath. I've got a magnet anyway. Okay, I'm going to position this here, and my setting sun is going to be down here, so they overlap slightly. Let me lift that up so you can see it. Like that. Hi Carol, thanks for joining us. So I could actually put this up in the top corner, couldn't I? Alright, so this is the sun. Well, it can be the sun or the moon depending on the colours that you add in. So what I'm going to do is, it's got this gap here and it's got the gaps between these, what would be the clouds in front of the sun, for example. So what I'm going to do is stamp it onto here. I'm going to have it slightly to the left and slightly down so that it's just sitting. I don't really want a gap between the top of my water and where my sun is going to go. And this is our Stamparatus, which sadly of course we no longer sell. It's no longer available to purchase, but if you have a stamp positioning tool then or a Stamp-O-Majig, that would definitely work. So what I'm going to do is stamp this up initially with Daffodil Delight, and then I'm going to add more depth of colour. Okay, I'm going to start with that, ink it up like so. Okay, so I know it's going to be fairly light. Hopefully you can see that just in the bottom. I'm going to re-ink that again, because I just want to build up this colour. And a lot of the shading is already inbuilt to this design. Just going to do it once more. Like so. Okay, so hopefully you can see that detail. Hi Annabelle, thanks for joining us this evening. Okay, now what I want to do is actually make this spot of the sun deeper. So I happen to have, this is a 3/8 of an inch punch, and this is about the size of that hole, and what I'm going to do is just cover that up. I could put my magnet on there, and then I'm going to grab a blending brush, and don't lose my dolphins. I'm going to grab, let me see, I've got pumpkin pie. What I want to do is make this element more more orange than yellow. Oh, that's well orange, as you can see. I don't think I needed to ink that up in the slightest. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just very carefully, because this punched hole is quite close to the edge of the paper, so I'm just going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to add just that little bit of pumpkin pie detail. I'm just going to keep my finger there. Okay, and I'm just going to move that down slightly and then come in from the left, like so. Move that away, see what that looks like. Just going to bring it down. So obviously it was slightly bigger than my punch, so I could have used a 1/2 inch punch, would have been spot on. Okay, let's have a look. See, so now I've got that detail in there, and the other thing I can do is take my blending brush with some ink and apply this to other areas of the stamp. So what I'm actually going to do is clean that off and just add it around this bottom section, because this would be quite difficult to ink up with a large size ink pad. You could use a sponge dauber, that's the little sponge that you pop on your finger, and I'm just going to pop that down as it is and apply it, and then see what it's like, and then apply more if I need it. Okay, so I think it needs a little bit more. And as I said on Monday, and also at Coffee and Card on Tuesday, this is perfect if you love scenery cards, or you've got maybe the hills of Tuscany, or you've got houses or cityscape, anything like that, then this is a great addition, and it's only £19. Okay, so hopefully you can see I'm adding a little bit more detail to that each time. And I'm not worrying about it overlapping slightly. If I was, I could just wipe that little bit off, or I could put a little bit of post-it note over, but I quite like the idea of it just sort of blending in, because there aren't any sort of straight lines, are there, in the scheme of things. Okay, there we go. So I don't know if you can see the difference between this one and the one on the left. There's a lot more detail on there than on this one, which is effectively a single stamp with a little bit of extra pumpkin pie ink added. And if you wanted to make this slightly pink, we could do that as well. Let's see if I've got a pink blending brush. So if you want it to look like one of those salmon type sort of sunsets, let's add some pink to that. Let's see what I've got to hand. Oh, that's red. Let's try. I've got some Calypso Coral, so slightly deeper orange. Let's just try that one out. Yeah, perfect. And again, you can pick that ink up with your blending brush and add it. Obviously it's not going to be as dark as if you put the ink pad straight on, but I think I do like the slightly more subtle effect of the colours, whereas if you use an ink pad you get more of a defined line. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you can see that detail. Okay, let's finish with that for the moment. And I'm going to add some clouds and some sky into that, and also those lovely dolphins. So let me cover these ink pads up. So I hope everybody's well. I see that England drew against Switzerland just now in the UEFA Cup. I'm sure they should have done better. Not that I know anything about football. Okay, so I've got some dolphins here. So I think what I might do is have 2 and 1 like that. And even if I have multiple stamps, I always like to stamp them individually. Excuse me. Just because if for any reason the stamps are of a different depth or anything like that, actually I might do them Night of Navy, something different. Yes, if you mixed up 2 stamp sets, one stamp in the process might be thicker than another, and then you'll get a partial print. Okay, I'm just going to see what this is like with Night of Navy, just for something different. Yeah, I like that. So let's have the dolphins here. So they're beautifully silhouetted against that sun there. And then I'm going to have another one, just a single one, which I've hidden. Okay. You could actually have a whole shoal, couldn't you? They're not shoals of dolphins, are they? They're pods, is that right? A dolphin pod. So there's the single one, like so. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is add some clouds into the sky and add the sky detail. So I'm going to stamp the clouds first. Let me grab, let me see what colours I've got. I really want a balmy blue, quite a light blue. It's this one here. And what I'm going to do is cover up my sun with a punched circle, and I think it is two and a half inches, I want to say. Let's see, oh, this is 2 inches. Let me try this one. Okay, that's 2 inches, which means when I do my blending over that, it will blend just into the edge of the sun and no further. So if you've got a post-it note, you could use a post-it note. I'm just going to pop this on my piece of paper and I'm just going to hold it in place, like so. And find my blue blending brush, which is right in front of me. Okay, I think I need to refill my blue ink pads. Okay, so I'm just going to add in a little bit of blue at this stage. She says that's hardly got any in it. Okay. got 3 balmy blue ink pads. One of them must have some ink in. I know we have used it a lot recently at Coffee and Card for skies. Let's see. Slightly better. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that in place. You could pop it on your platform and add a magnet if you wanted to, if you didn't want to hold it. I'm going to go slightly darker because there's hardly any ink. This is Blueberry Bushel. Let's see how we get on with that. That's better. It's always best to start with your lighter colour. As you know, you can always go darker. It's much more difficult to go lighter. Okay. So just adding some detail in. And I'm leaving some white space, and I am going to add a little bit of sort of orangey yellow. Like so. Around the sun. And I've got plenty on there. So what I'm going to do is just a sort of left-right swipe like that. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So can you see we've got that a slight orange band going across. I can make that more defined. I didn't want to go too mad. Like so. There we go. And then having got that, I can just go across here, just getting it lighter and lighter, which it will do naturally as the ink is used up. There we go. Okay, that's looking good. I'm happy with that. So quite a different look. I'm just going to add a few clouds in the sky. The clouds in this are really fantastic because they've got some, oops, sorry, some shading built in. So let's just do that quickly. And I've got Blueberry Bushel. Let's see what that looks like. It's probably too dark, but actually I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to pop one over here. I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want it really dark. You see the detail of that cloud. And I think with this set of clouds it would be fabulous if you heat emboss them with a white powder. So there we go, hopefully you can see that. Like so. And if I wanted, I could just be careful not to blend too much of that blue from the ink that I've just stamped, but just add in a few little lines of orange. And I'm just using what was left on the brush. So this was pumpkin pie, with a little bit of Calypso coral. I have to think about that. Added on. So just adding that in. There we go. I'm really happy with that as a design. Okay. I'll think about a sentiment. I just want to do my other design really quickly to show you, and then I'll pop those two together. So the other one I was going to do is the moon with the like a reflection. So let's bring this back like so. So this time what I'm going to do is stamp, hopefully you can see the bottom of that card, just is find my stamp here, and I'm going to do a couple of, I'm going to do 2 layers I think. So let's use Blueberry Bushel for this one, just to see what it looks like. So inking that up. So I'm going to do my base layer first, just because I want some height for this. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to add this bit here, and you really don't have to worry about the overlap because it just looks like it's movement. That's the wrong end. Okay, so like so. Alright, and then I'm going to repeat that, but I'm going to do it the other way round. So get it the right way around. So I'm going to do this on the right hand side, and then use the other side of the stamp on the left. Hopefully I've got that fairly straight. There we go. And in fact, thinking about it, this would look really nice. That's not very straight at all. I will straighten it up. But if you took that sun and put it on here, and then you could blend in orange, slight orange for the reflection. However, I do want to correct this wonky bit of sea. So T-square is invaluable for this whole sort of thing. So I can just run that straight. Use a pencil if you wish, or you could just mark your paper. Just going to mark the paper there. Very fine line. And then hopefully not move everything. So, oh, that's not very straight to start with, is it? Okay. So I'm just going to draw the equivalent line on the other side. That's better. And then I'm going to grab a post-it note and then just fill in those little gaps. Just need to find my large post-it note. Okay, so if you wanted to do a quick scene, then watch my video from Monday, because that was quick. But this one is just a little bit more detailed. So there is my line. She says, so that my sea horizon at least is straight. And now what I can do is just grab that stamp then do the same thing here. So I can see I'm going off my paper. So I want it to go further along, like so. Okay, so it's just filling in that gap. I'm going to do the same on the right hand side. I'm just putting this piece down because I'm working on a small piece rather than my full grid paper. And let's just do the same. So I know it's not going to go any higher than that. Like so. I could have done that to start with, couldn't I really? There we go. So there we've got the element that's going to be our reflection of our moon. So here is our moon, and where am I going to have it? So it has a broken edge here. Just trying to work out whether I want it just above. Yes, because it can't really go behind the waterline, can it? So let me see what colour. Let's use one of the greys. So whatever grey you've got to hand. So I've got smoky slate, but you could use grey granite, you could use basic grey. You could definitely stamp this and heat emboss it in white, especially if you had a light blue background. That would look stunning. Okay, let me just see how this stamps. Yeah, I want it fairly pale. And I suppose I could have it high. Let's be daring. There we go. So there's our moon at the top, and then I want this as the reflection. So what I'm going to do is just add the smallest amount of the top of the stamp across here. So let's bring back this. Let's get it straight again. So I'm just experimenting really. I had no idea what my finished cards were going to look like. So I've got that one there, and then let's grab another one because I just want a fine line, which I could, to be fair, I could draw with a small amount, but yeah, let's just use the stamp. It's there. Oh, hi Cindy. Good morning to you. I haven't seen you online for a little while, so I do hope you're keeping well. Okay, so let's pop that on there. So I've literally got, hopefully, just a very fine line. Let's move this away, have a look, see? Hardly. The smallest fine line going that you can't actually see it, folks. Okay. And I thought I'd use the darker part of the stamp as well. Maybe I just didn't press hard enough over the post-it notes. Let's try that again. So I'm just adding a little bit more pressure this time. Hardly again. Okay, let us take a blends pen, and what I'm going to do is just run it across here. I don't want a defined line, just want a little bit of a broken line to show the horizon of that sea. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, just a tad more. As I said before, it's always best to just do a little bit at a time, the lightest colour, and then you can add more, or you could go back in, darken the colour. And the reason, if you're wondering why it hasn't come through, it's because we've got the layers of post-it note, and the stamp hasn't got enough space for it to sort of reach through the gap. Okay, let's see. There we are, that's what I wanted. So just enough of a line here so that you could see it in the distance. And I guess I could have done a bit more of that water, shall we? And then it will just look like a reflection there. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, folks. Okay, so I'm just stamping that over that line I've just produced. There we go. And then I need to cover this up and try and get it straight again. Like so. And so. Nearly there. Okay. Hi Brenda, good evening to you. So there's my moon, there's my reflection. I am going to add some Wink of Stella so it's slightly sparkling. And I'm thinking I could stamp the boat, a little sailing boat, on the horizon. I will add some sky in. Do we think on the horizon? Maybe just in there where it's a little bit lighter. Now I wished I hadn't done that line. I could have left it sort of open, but never mind. Nothing ventured. Let's pop the sailboat on, and I think I'm going to do navy. Might need a block. Okay. So, inking that one up, and put it there on the horizon. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm going to do the same treatment, just going to add a little bit of sky detail here. Now because this, I know this is supposed to be sort of night because the moon is out, but I don't want this too dark, so I'm just going to use what I have left on my brush, and let's cover up that moon, sun. If I could find the piece I punched out. I can't. So I'll punch another one. There we go. I'll find it in a minute, you watch. So remember, if you want to make it darker, you want to cover it up and then add detail. If you want to hide that and then put other detail on, you'll want your sun or moon covered up, and that is a different size. But what I'm going to do is just position it to the right there, add my cloud detail, and then I'll just move it around. So a little bit of blue there. Let's move this. And I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use a piece of dark blue card and do this moon heat embossed in white for sure. Okay, so if you do have a punch that's a better size, then you won't have to keep moving it like I am, but it will do for our purposes. There we go. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Let's move that one out of the way. And I'm going to add a cloud in there. This is Blueberry Bushel again. I'll say these clouds, if you're not very good at shading or anything else like that, these clouds are a perfect addition. They even have this coming across that moon, like so. And now I know clouds typically aren't blue, they're actually white depending on what's behind it, but we can take some artistic license, I think. There we go. Now there is another cloud formation as well, so you don't have to use just that one. And I just feel the need to add a little bit here. Like that. Okay, it's getting there. Right, I want some wing of Stella. Ooh. And the pokey tool that's attached. And what I'm going to do is, because this is ink here, take my glasses off for this. So I'm adding this Wink of Stella, which is like a glitter pen, and then I'm just going to blend that into here a little bit. Like so. And then blend that down into here. And what's nice is that this will pick up a little bit of that blue from the ink, like so. And what you need to do is make sure that when you've finished is that you clean this off, otherwise next time you come to use your glitter pen you'll have blue blue glitter. Okay, so I'm just blending those edges in, cleaning that off, and then I'm just going to add a bit onto my moon here. Now, I don't suspect you can see this in the light, but it will come really glittery when it dries. There we go. So hopefully I've got that effect. Going down to there. Like so. So let me put the lid on that before I lose it, and just pop those onto some cards, and we are good to go. Okay, so on balance I would have done this again. If I did it again, I would do this V shape and then do the same thing upside down here, so I didn't have so much of a line. But that is fine. There's always more opportunities. Right, this is going to go, I think, onto Night of Navy. Just going to angle that. You might just see a little bit of that shine. The other thing, if I've got one to hand, is a white gel pen, and you can add more detail to make it look like you've got waves. And I have 3 white gel pens. Do you think I can even see one of them? No. Okay, if I find them before I photograph them, I will add the detail and then show you. I can't believe I can't even find one. As soon as I finish, I'll find it. Hopefully. Okay, right, Night of Navy I've decided for that one. Like so. Could actually go grey. Have a look. That's only better. Quite like that on the grey. Any preference? I think I'm going to do the grey, otherwise there's a lot of blue going on. So this layer is going to measure 14.35 by 10. I'm hoping that this will be the right fit then. It will, and that will go onto my base card. And then this one that we did here, that will work. That's the blue. So this is exactly the same measurements, 10 by 14.35, and both of these I'm going to pop onto probably white cards. And I say probably because you'll see why in a second. Right, let's pop that one on there. So just a small amount of glue. You can use the other end of the glue if you prefer. This one here, it's got a spreading applicator on the top, so if you find you've got too much glue in one place, you can use that to flatten it and move it around. It's a slightly bigger aperture, so you will get more glue, so just be gentle. Okay, there's one. This is going onto the grey, I think. Oh, bless you, Cindy. That's very sweet of you. Sometimes they work better than others, as you know. It's one of those things. But I do encourage people just to have a play and try, even if you end up throwing the sample. I, for example, now know how I want to do that. So if I did it again, I know how I wanted to do that. And I do think I want to do one heat embossed white as a moon in the blue sky, definitely. So I think I might do that once I've finished. Right, let's have a look. So there's a white card, and I may have a new basic beige colour. No. Let me have a look. This is basic beige, so it's like a very, very soft grey, and I'm just wondering if that would look, yeah, because it just takes the grey of the moon, doesn't it? So that one can go onto there. Not quite sure what sentiment I'm going to put on these. Obviously they make good birthday cards for anybody who likes the ocean or sailing or the sea. That's the same as the ocean. Oh dear, it's been a busy week, folks. Okay, and I'm looking forward to crafting on Saturday with some lovely ladies for the craft day that I'm running with my team member Sam. Some lovely projects there, and I can show you those after Saturday, because they remain a secret until the day of the event. Okay, I don't know if you can see that shining now. I'm not sure that you can. I can, but I'm not sure that you can. Okay, so glue on the back of that, just your glue of preference really, whether you like. Some people prefer tape, some people prefer wet glue. It's really whatever your preference is. Trying to make sure I don't put any inky fingers on there. So there we go, two quite different cards with the Under the Moon stamp set. This one here, and let me show you the ones from earlier for anybody who didn't see these. You might have seen them if you caught my live on Monday. So this is basically the predecessor to this one, and then we've got this one here with the aeroplane and the forest. We've got simple version of the boat and the moon and the happy birthday, and then this one, which is a variation of the one that I did on Monday. So there we go. So I hope you like those. I do like that blueberry bushel for the colour of those clouds. So I wonder which one you like the best. Do let me know if you prefer the dolphins or the sailing boat. I am definitely going to do that again. Change that bit so that basically I repeat that up on the top, and then I'm also going to do one with white heat embossing, because I think that would look stunning for the moon and then the ripples on the water. And hopefully in the meantime I'll find one of my white pens, and you can just do some little lines on the sea to make it look like waves. So fingers crossed I can find those. So thank you so much everybody for joining me. I will show you the additional cards that I make. Whether I do them live, I'm not quite sure because I'll be busy tomorrow. But if not, I will share them here on my Facebook page. So thank you so much. Dolphins says Caroline, that's her favourite one. Cindy says, oh, Caroline says you can see it shining. Thank you, Cindy, Caroline, Brenda, Annabelle, Carol, Lynn, and anybody else who's still watching, and obviously anybody else who joins us in due course. I must refill my balmy blue ink pads. I'm going to do that next. Thank you so much. Do take care. Look after yourselves, look after your loved ones, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.